ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Kimmel, it's a major issue, not because like, do we want to watch him on TV or not? It's a major issue because of the First Amendment. Now, give you a quick recap. Obviously, Jimmy Kimmel said Charlie Kirk's shooter is part of the MAGA community. That's an outright lie, and then was making jokes about President Trump within the context of Charlie Kirk. Yeah, he can say what he wants. It's the First Amendment. He wasn't threatening anyone's life or safety. And then Disney ultimately says, well, we're going to suspend him indefinitely, proved to be a week, if that. And there was major conflict. There were people on the right saying, good, I'm glad he's fired. Didn't like the guy, he's a propagandist. Yeah, I agree. And there were people on the left saying this is the Trump administration doing censorship. That's dangerous. By the way, where the fuck were you the past 5 years? Did you see the statement of YouTube? You didn't give a shit about any of this until now? But that doesn't mean they're wrong right now. Then you can get to, well, JP, wait just a damn minute, because you're sounding like a leftist. You can say, well, no, Disney fired him because he sucks. And he said something that sucks on top of just sucking, getting objectively low ratings, and he's not funny. But to me, and I put out a reaction video on this, it wasn't that simple. You know, the head of the FCC is a Trump-appointed person, the chairman of the FCC. The FCC was putting pressure on Disney, basically saying, we don't like what Kimmel said. You going to do something about this, or you going to have us do something to you about this? And then President Trump's tweeting about it. So what you have is the government. As much as I don't like to call Trump the government, yeah, he's definitely, he's the head of the government. President Trump and the FCC, they were saying things that were pressure to fire Jimmy Kimmel. That's the government. Either censoring, pushing to censor, or at the very least, looking like they're trying to. Now, in a perfect world, they can say what they want, and Disney says, no, we're making the decision on our own accord. We're firing Jimmy Kimmel. It definitely wasn't that cut and dry. To me, at the very least, it just looked like the Trump administration was putting pressure, if not intimidation, via the Trump-appointed chairman of the FCC onto Disney to fire Jimmy Kimmel. I have to stand on principle. That is not right. That is a slippery slope. Yeah, when it's censoring someone you and I don't like, that's when it takes true courage to stand on principle. So from the get-go, I was like, I don't like Jimmy Kimmel. I would be happy for him to be off the air, but not this way. Love for him to be off the air based on the merits of his own underachievements. But because I like to be principled when it comes to free speech, I was just like, I don't think this is right. Doesn't look right. That's the context. You know, I was online the other day and I stumbled across this video from Chuck Norris. He's in his 80s, but he says he still feels like he's in his 50s. The guy looks insane. It was actually pretty shocking. He had some pretty cool tips in there on what he's doing, including these 3 foods that he avoids like the plague. At first I was kind of skeptical because I was like, well, he's Chuck freaking Norris. He's invincible. Nothing can take him down. But then he explained what he was doing, and it actually made a lot of sense. Then I tried some of his tips. They were super simple and easy, and I'm actually feeling pretty damn amazing now because of them. And at first I didn't really want to share this info, but then I thought, well, y'all are so loyal to me, and what happened for Chuck and what happened for me could also happen for you. But like with anything new, results can vary. But the video I watched is definitely worth checking out. I actually reached out to him and got a special link for my viewers. You can watch the video at chuckdefense.com/JP. That's chuckdefense.com/JP. Make it even easier. It's also linked below. It's a pretty quick watch and it's a game changer, and I'd invite you to check it out for yourself at chuckdefense.com/JP. Now let's get to the update. Jimmy Kimmel is back, ladies and gentlemen. You can just see this little Fox tweet, statement from, I don't know, Walt Disney. He's dead. He didn't write this. Breaking: Disney announces Jimmy Kimmel's show will resume Tuesday after it was suspended following the comedian's comments about Charlie Kirk's assassination. I know what you're watching tonight. I don't think you or I will be. But then, following that, here's breaking. Sinclair Broadcast Group, who owns 31 ABC stations, just announced they will refuse to broadcast Jimmy Kimmel's show when ABC puts him back on air, which is kind of confusing. Disney's saying Jimmy Kimmel's back on air. Who owns ABC saying Kimmel's back on air. Then Sinclair, who I guess owns broadcasting rights in 31 areas to that shit, says, yeah, we're not going to air him. Okay. Seems like they're making the decision of their own accord. That's fine. But ultimately, Jimmy Kimmel officially being reinstated by Disney, I think that's good. Don't be mistaken into thinking I'm saying Jimmy Kimmel is good, because I'm not. I don't think he is. But for what matters most, beyond what I want, is what's the principle of the First Amendment. In no way should any form of government infringe on anyone's free speech. Especially, I mean, it's easy to say when it's ours, but we have to be especially diligent when it's either people we don't like or people saying the things we like the least. So I'm glad Jimmy Kimmel's reinstated. And Ryan Long, a comedian, he's a friend of mine. It's a great stand-up bit about the leftists who were screaming out, this is censorship, Jimmy Kimmel being gone, this is wrong. Where have you been? Care about censorship when Biden was doing it? You didn't, did you? No, you didn't. Okay, that's fine. So here's Ryan Long.
I had a friend, she came out to me and she was like, isn't it crazy that free speech is gone? I'm like, you supported every guy getting kicked off of everything for 10 years. It feels like a friend that was like an alcoholic for 8 years and just a menace, then coming back to the party after 1 day sober and being like, you guys need to get your life together. You came to my wedding and shit on the cake. And the only reason you're not an alcoholic anymore is because of the ankle bracelet. What are we talking about right now? I had a friend, she came up.
Ryan Long, you can follow him on Twitter, Ryan Long Comedy, also on YouTube, Instagram, all the places. I think that sums it up very well through the language of comedy.